So we're all set for Centurion now. It's not much time between that frantic start at Cape Town to the second test at Supersport Park. Graham Smith, thank you very much for talking to ESPN Cricinfo.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I don't know where to start. Let's start with India's batting. Did you notice anything in particular that they were significantly flawed at, that they need to turn around quickly before the second test?
Well, I mean, I think a surface that offers good pace and bounce and a little bit of nip is always going to test every batter. I think both bowling units I thought were outstanding. You know, from a batting perspective, both top orders really struggled. I think the thing that stood out for me was I was very surprised with India's selection. I thought that, and I've said from the start, I know they go on about 20 wickets, but you know, if India can post totals on these surfaces, then they give themselves a chance to compete and to win. And I thought going a batter light was a bad mistake in my mind. I think you know, you've got problems at the top with Shikhar Dhawan. South Africa are going to attack him with a short ball. The two guys that technically outside like the outstanding player like Virat Kohli, the two guys technically for me that I've seen on the Indian lineup that look suited to South African style or equipped to South African style conditions are Rahul and Rahana. You know, I think they've got to look at their players and say, who are the best 6 guys that can get us runs on this tour? Because I think the wickets are going to be spicy, so they've got to pick technically their best guys.
So that having been said, you would play 6 batters?
I would play 6 batters. I guess the debate going into Joburg for both teams would be the spinner. So in Pretoria now and the Wanderers, you know, do they pick a spinner? For India, would they pick Hardik Pandya? I think he's definitely going to play. Yeah,
he's made a very strong case.
He's made a very strong case. So if they're going to play the extra batter, the only person that can really miss out is probably someone like Ashwin. Yeah, it's risky in Pretoria, but I think both teams would be considering whether they pick a spin bowler or not going into. Obviously, need to see the conditions, what they look like. But I would expect that surface to have a bit of juice in it, and then generally with the heat they're having it, both surfaces now in Pretoria and Joburg will crack and become a little bit up and down.
Would the feeling be for South Africa that they, to some degree, got away with this in the first test, and it wasn't as convincing, especially from their batting point of view, as convincing a performance as they would have liked? Look,
I loved the test match. I thought it was a great challenge between bat and ball. It was exciting. It was one of the most exciting test matches I think we've seen for a while now. So I think that was brilliant. I think the surface offered a nice challenge for both. South Africa will be aware. I think you know, India bowled really well, and I think that would have maybe surprised them a little bit on the batting front. The top order of South Africa, I mean, Markram looked quite good in the second innings, but you know, Dean Elgar looks like he's struggling for a bit of confidence, doesn't know where his off-stump is, I think. And also Hash, I think Hash is a world-class player. I think he'll be disappointed in his shot selection early on in his innings in this test match. You expect someone like Hashim to get runs somewhere in the series. It's just too good a player. AB looked outstanding both innings. Probably was with the bat, he was probably the difference in the game.
If you were the batting coach of a visiting team, how do you prepare them for Vernon Philander?
I think most people have tried, but they've struggled certainly in these conditions. I mean, the man's got great skill. That little session that he bowled at Murali Vijay, I think, is what makes him so good. Is that he, you know, once he locks into that area and there's a bit of nip in that, he doesn't let you go. And Vijay just, you know, it was a great spell to watch. The other thing is that I feel a lot of Indian batters were dragged into playing at balls that were just outside the off stump. I think you've got to be really, you've got to leave the ball well. You've got to force the guys to bowl at you, and then when you get your opportunity to score on these types of surfaces with the square cut or the pull, you've got to take it. So I think be positive.